Having come off a string of successful albums in the 80s, the Cult entered the 90s with their first release of the decade, 1991's Ceremony. While the album underperformed amid a changing musical scene, it also resulted in a damaging $61 million lawsuit. Today, let's explore what happened. The Cult would release their fifth album, Ceremony, on September 23, 1991. It was a difficult time and month to release an album, given that Nirvana's Nevermind came out the following day, and the same month saw some high-profile releases from Guns N' Roses and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. The album peaked at number 24 on the album charts, not meeting expectations. It was about 9 months after the album's release that the band had sold about 400,000 copies that they were hit with a lawsuit by the members of the Lakota Sioux Nation from South Dakota. The plaintiffs Tom and Jennifer Crazy Bear Dubrey filed a $61 million lawsuit against the Cult, as well as their label Sire Records and Time Warner. They claim that Ceremony's album cover, which featured a photograph of their son Eternity, was used without their permission. Attorneys for the couples claim the picture was taken from a North Dakota powwow from 1984. The photo not only appears on the album cover, but also in the video for the album's single, Wild Hearted Son. Eternity's photo, along with John Lennon and Martin Luther King, go up in flames in the music video. Native Americans believe that the burning of objects is often associated with death. Eternity would end up seeing his image going up in flames on MTV while he was staying in a motel with his parents in North Carolina shortly after the album's release. His parents in their lawsuit claimed their son was now frightened to leave the house, with an attorney for the couple telling the press, "Eternity's father said to me, they've condemned my only son to death before he's had a chance at life." The lawsuit would be filed in New York State Supreme Court and would claim, and I quote, "Plaintiff Eternity Dubrey has been caused to sustain mental strain and distress, humiliation, disturbance of peace of mind, and of the free and unfettered practice of his religion and way of life." The lawsuit seemed to stall the band's momentum as well as the album's release, as it was delayed in several overseas markets, including South Korea and Thailand. According to the website albumsthattimeforgot.com, it appeared that the lawsuit was eventually thrown out of court, and the band for their part claimed the photo was available for commercial use. And here's MTV discussing the lawsuit.
The Cult has responded to being sued last week by an 11-year-old Sioux Indian boy and his family for $61 million. The family claimed unauthorized use of the boy's photo on the band's latest album, Ceremony, and in a music video from the album. Cult frontman Ian Astbury, who is part Native American himself, dismisses the suit and says the band had authorization to use the photograph.
The release forms were signed and everything by the family. It was done about 8 years ago. The photograph was commercially available in the book. The photographer has retained the rights for the past 8 years. There was a commercially available poster of the image even before we were even interested in using the image. So I think it's just somebody sniffing around to try and exploit the current trend of Native Americans suing either corporations or sports teams.
Ceremony's lack of commercial sales can be attributed to the rise of alternative rock and tensions between the band members. The album represented a crossroads for the Cult. The creative relationship between frontman Ian Astbury and guitarist Billy Duffy was strained, as the pair couldn't agree on what they should do with their sound. Duffy wanted to play straightforward rock, while Astbury wanted to be more experimental, and so the album proved to be a compromise. Astbury would tell Canada's Global News that the band was on the verge of imploding following the release of their 1989 record, Sonic Temple, revealing, and I quote, "The pressure of doing it so long, the wear and tear of the road, the pressure to create another record was all there. We should have taken a break, but we went straight into Ceremony. It was a very difficult time. My father had just passed, Matt Sorum left, he got with Guns N' Roses, our bass player left. He decided he couldn't handle the road. It just wasn't for him. It wasn't his lifestyle. And all of a sudden, it was just me and Billy. Then we thought, do we continue? What else are we going to do? This is all that we know." The band would soldier on for a few more years, putting out their self-titled album in 1994, but they soon called it quits for nearly half a decade. That does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like button and subscribe, and we'll see you again in Rock and Roll Your Stories. Take care.